you keep finding yourself in unhealthy, unbalanced relationships where you give out the majority of love, respect, and care, and find yourself not getting anything in return for that. Now, this is called codependency in traditional psychology, and we're going to call it self love deficit disorder. That's the new modern terminology for this. And this is part of a narcissistic relationship. And this happens in a narcissistic environment, in a codependent environment. And when you deal with a narcissist and an empath, they attract each other. You've create this unbalanced relationship just like this. And this is common for a lot of people. If you look into narcissism, then this is common for a lot of people. Now, we're not calling it narcissism now. We're calling it self-love deficit disorder, which is a different thing. It's the same thing. This is what causes the narcissism or the empathy. These people call themselves empaths. Whether or not that's true or not, we'll talk about that another time. So you have the narcissist and the empath, and both of them place their love outside of themselves. And so that's why it's a self-love deficit disorder, is because it is outside. And this comes from early childhood when your parents tell you that if you do this, you'll make them angry. If you do that, you'll make them happy. And if you do that, then you'll make them proud. So our parents are constantly telling us that we are in control of their emotional state. So our behavior will determine how their emotions will play out. And so what that does is it takes your emotional control, and instead of you being in control of your emotions only, they put your emotions outside of you, and you have to do all these things in order to make other people happy. And they actually train you that you have to care for other people. And if you don't, then you're not a good person. And so to feel like a good person, you have to go and you have to help these other people. Now, when you help these other people, your intention is to love these other people. And that is what you're actually trying to do, is you want to try to make these other people feel loved. And once you make them feel loved, then you're expecting them to love you back. And that's not going to happen because these people really aren't capable of creating real love. When you do something loving for another person and its intention is to get them to feel loved, then what you're doing really is you're manipulating that person. And what you have to do is you have to manipulate that person so they'll do whatever it is that you need them to do so that you can feel loved. That's really what's going on, is that when we do these things for other people, we're doing these things because we were taught that if we don't, we're not good enough. And now we're looking for the validation that says, hey, you're good enough. And we're not getting that. And so really what happens is, so you want to feel love. So in order to feel love, you have to get another person to do something so that you feel loved. This is how things work. This is how we understand our stuff to work, is that other people need to do things for us, and then they control our emotional states. And so if we want to be happy, we need somebody else to do something that'll make us happy. If we want to feel loved, we have to do something for them in order to get them to do that thing that they do that makes us feel loved. So we've got it backwards, because love is actually our base setting, is our soul or inner being, whatever that thing is inside of us. That inner being is the vibration of love. So at our very core, we are love. And by taking out and giving other people the responsibility for our love, then we can't access love without other people's permission. Whereas when the love is inside of you, then what happens is that you stand in your love. You are that love. You call it standing in your light. And so you stand in your light of love, and you radiate that light out into the world. And so when you do something, you're not doing anything different than what you normally do, except you're doing it from the space of love. And so that is how you give love to other people, is that you behave in a loving way. So you, as soon as you start judging somebody, that is no longer love. Unconditional love means unconditional. That means as soon as you start passing off any kind of judgment, that is no longer love anymore. And it's control and manipulation. So self-love deficit disorder and narcissism, empathy, whatever it is, the fix for all of this stuff is self-love. And when you find self-love and when you find the love inside of yourself, then all those problems, all those other things, they go away. When you do something for another person and you're coming from a loving space while you're doing that thing for another person, then you already have the love and validation that you need. You don't need them to return anything to you because you did it based out of your goodness. And if you need something back from that, then you're trying to control or manipulate that other person. And so you're doing it for the wrong reason. And once you get things straightened out so that you become a self-love person, like you, once you step into that light and you become self-love, then your whole world changes. And you stop attracting those toxic people, those narcissists, and those other people out there that don't respect you, that don't return your love. In fact, they're not a problem anymore because once you have the love inside of you, you're not expecting anything in return from them, then your whole dynamic changes. And I understand that it's not a real easy thing to do on your own. And that's why I make the journey into the light. It's part of my hypnosis sessions. And when you journey into your light, then you find out what self-love is. You actually find out the love is inside of you. And we set up an anchor so that it triggers love on a regular basis. So all the love that you're looking for, the approval that you're looking for, it's you. You're looking for the approval from you to you, not from any external people. And this is what a self-empowered person is. When you're self-empowered, you don't need anybody else to give you that feeling of love. And so if somebody else cuts you up and says something bad about you or to you, it won't bother you anymore. It doesn't, because you understand how the world works. You are not relying on their approval to get what you need. And you understand, if you understand perception is projection, then you understand that people's judgments of you are all really about themselves. And so if you want to find self-love, then go to my website at jeffbroomfield.com, and I have a 20-minute free strategy session. And you can book that yourself by going to my website, and you can pick the calendar, set the date, and book yourself that strategy session. And we'll talk about whether or not the hypnosis will work for you in achieving your goals. So we'll find out what your goals are and whether or not hypnosis can help you achieve them. So go to my website, check that out. And also give me the thumbs up here and subscribe to my channel. So thanks for tuning in. Stay awesome and have a good one.